Hi. How is everyone? The day after the 888 day. People, I gotta tell you, people are super technical with their stuff right now. Anyways, I'll get into that on another. This is a twin flame reading, but the first thing I want to say, because we're going to see a lot of people stepping off of that journey and onto their own path. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say, if you are someone who's been on the twin flame journey and you feel that you are better than your person, if you feel that your person is low vibrational and the cause of your pain, this is not, that is not the twin flame collective I read for. So this video is probably not for you. You can watch it, but it may trigger you because it will not align with your truth. If you are on the twin flame journey and at the core of your connection with this person has always been love, regardless of how much they've triggered you, and in recognizing the equality in the two of you, they're not, you're in the right place. The twin flames that I read for understand that their person is using a different operating system than them. They're in a different place than they are, but they are not less than and they are not greater than. But we have this weird conditioning, this weird way of either putting them on a pedestal or putting them beneath us, because that's what we're conditioned to do, okay? But it's not, they're not the problem. Our conditioning, our wounding, our reaction and responses to things are. And in my own experience, you know, there's a lot of talk out there about how the divine masculine lowers the frequency of the divine feminine. But that's only when the divine feminine chooses to participate in that. And I'm going to show you how this shows up for me. So if I feel something, I want to go and look in his life as if I'm responsible for that. That's my own conditioning. That's my wounding. I want to go and I want to figure it out. But I tap into that stuff, whatever that old energy is, and that makes me feel icky. But it's not my person that makes me feel icky. It's what's around them that makes me feel icky. And I only feel icky because I'm choosing to go into that energy. You know what I mean? So that's just a preface. If you think your divine counterpart's a crappy person, or they're denying their soul's work, which we as divine feminines don't actually know, this is not the place for you to be. There are lots of other people talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not here for that. That's creating separation, and I won't participate in that situation, separation anymore. Even with myself, my own connection, I'm working on that with other people. The way through is not to create a hierarchy of us versus them. That's what I truly feel. And if you feel resonant with that, then you're in the right place. But if you don't feel resonant with that, because there's whatever you need to go through with whatever that is, this is not the video for you. To be really clear. Not that there's a ton of people that watch my videos, but I want to start talking about how there are all kinds of different connections that are being listed as twin flames, and that might be a twin flame to that person, but that is not what a twin flame is to me. And what a twin flame is to me is who I'm reading for. I just want to preface that. So this is sort of the temple path right now. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a higher focus, a higher energy focus, a higher frequency focus. The core of the energy of the connection, and there will be an extended for my Patreons, okay? I'm not quite sure, 100% sure what decks I'm going to use, because the Quantum Oracle is coming forward, and so is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. They're both, the Quantum Oracle deals a little bit more with the 3D stuff, but let's kind of see what rolls out. I'm going to look at the center of devotion, or the fire in the Twin Flame Collective right now, the core of our mission, whatever it is that's coming forward. And then I'm going to look at the divine feminine side, the divine masculine side, kind of what the purpose is, all that good stuff. So I think I'm going to go with the Quantum, or the Oracle of Seven Energies, because I feel like I may have to refer to the book a few times too, because there's some interesting stuff in it. Oh man. Okay. The center of devotion. Did something come up, or no, it flipped back over. Okay. The Center of devotion, the fire, the core. Okay, so we have breaking open and we have the storyteller. I kind of love this, okay? And I struggle because I don't want to come across as being a dick. But the truth, but I need to be able to express my truth regardless of whether it's true for anybody else, okay? Regardless of how it's reacted to or responded to. This is just genuinely what I feel. And I think I feel more frustrated at the lack of compassion and empathy from the divine feminine to the divine masculine, because that means on a deeper level, the divine feminine is not giving herself any compassion or empathy. Like it's always that weird way that it shows up externally, but anyways. The storyteller is interesting. We do have self-knowledge through empowerment. What stories is the world talking about when it comes to what stories are people telling themselves about this connection? That's the root of what stories are being told. And are those stories really absolutely true? Or do they just compound things? I think things are being broken open. I think we're blowing the lid off of things. The cat's out of the bag, so to speak, right? The cat's out of the bag. Because I feel like we're not our person's problem. We've never been our person's problem. They've never been ours. We have our own problems. They have their own problems, but the energy makes it seem like it's personal. It's such an interesting thing. Identity, positive self-definition, teaching others how to treat you through the stories you tell about who you are. What stories are you telling about yourself? What stories are the masculines telling about themselves? We're rewriting the stories. We're done writing the novel of our lives up until this point. We are starting a whole new novel, not just a chapter. Like when I feel like if it's not loving, if it's not accepting, if it's not respectful, it has no business being written in the book. I know that sounds weird. I know that's totally, and I've been working with this for about a week now. And for those who did the Divine Feminine event, which I think you can still get the replay for 2222. Anyways, this is all about truly letting go of how we've always been and stepping into who we were always meant to be, like we were meant to be the way that we were meant to be at that time, but things have changed now and we have to let go of those things we want to hold on to as if they make us who we are. They're not our identity. This experience that we have with this person is not our identity. We're just starting to understand the fullness of, same with the masculines, they're starting to understand the fullness of their identity. And whatever they were told about themselves isn't necessarily true. So I feel like with this, we're going to see a little bit of a release of the label. Like, do you need to label it as something in order to justify the amount of time and effort you've put into it? I don't feel that. But maybe you do. Maybe that's something to explore, right? Just like the masculines are like, do I need to hold on to this stuff because I put all this time and energy into it? I don't think so. Okay. It's very interesting right now. The gift of grief. Okay. Being shattered as a result of loss, the potential inherent in failure. Okay. This is so interesting because we're so serious about this connection as if it's a pass fail. How do you even measure something like this? How do you quantify a relationship like this as if that makes it valid or not, as if that, it's that justification, as if you need to explain it to anybody. There is so much shifting. And for the masculines, when it comes to this connection, letting go of having to define it with anybody so that they can have the courage to step into it. For the feminines, it's not easy, but it's easier in the sense of, my hair's all crazy today. It's easier in the sense that we have people to talk to about it, and we're witnessing all these people experiencing very similar things to us, so we don't feel quite as crazy. We can vocalize about it, and we still We still get so much public shunning and humiliation and all these people that want to define what it is to make us feel stupid about how we feel. That is also just conditioning and programming. All of that is being washed out right now, but it's so much. It can't just go all at once. So whatever that's so fascinating to me. Okay. For the divine feminines, and here's the thing. I don't think there's a failure in this. I know that I can feel the bubbling up from the subconscious in myself, in the collective, of being like, well, maybe this was a loss. Maybe I am wrong about this. Maybe I need to grieve it in order to let it go. And if you need to grieve to let go of the past, do that. It does not mean the love goes anywhere. Love has always been there. It's never going to go anywhere, right? It's such an interesting thing. And then I can hear the inner dialogue of the collective of being like, well, if it was supposed to be, why isn't it? And it's been so long. And all of these narratives that make us feel like crap about ourselves and try to tell us who we are and try to tell us what is right and wrong. But it really just makes us feel like crap. We're breaking out of that. That is a constant loop of failure. Following your heart, opening to love, softening to love. There's no failure in that. Because it just exists as it is. You don't have to be anything in order to have that. You can't fail at it. Okay. Feminines, what do we got for you? Okay. Oh yeah. We've got the spirit of gratitude, which I think is a really interesting card, because I always want to punch it in the teeth. I'm not going to lie. Because it's almost like you need to be more grateful. You need to be whatever. And I can be grateful and still not be happy where this connection is at in the physical reality. It's perhaps acknowledging and opening up to those things. Communion with the divine. Expressing deep gratitude as you move through the world, knowing that your prayers will be answered exactly when they're meant to be. So it's also a little bit of the patience card, which also I sometimes want to knock its teeth out. Because even though consciously I understand divine timing, I don't like it, So I think there's just this, for divine feminines, the more we tap into the divine essence of who we are and connect to source and remember that it's not all or nothing. It's not black and white. It's not this or that. I think the more we're going to be at peace with ourselves and how things are unfolding. That's kind of the direction I feel we're being guided to go in at this time. And any time that duality or polarity comes up in the all or nothing, the right and wrong of things, you just get to adjust it within yourself, acknowledge it, be like, does this actually feel good to sit in this space? Is there a middle ground that I can come to with this? But truly, when you connect to your higher self and you connect to source and you do these things, you're going to feel, you're probably not even going to need to analyze it. You're just going to trust what you sense and know. And that's where we're being guided to go. Trusting without proof. Trusting without having to defend. Trusting without worrying about reactions from people or opinions from people. For the divine masculine, okay, they're anchoring something in for sure. Honestly, anyone I've tapped into in the last, they are going through it. It's hard. It's hard for the feminine right now, but it's not. I feel like we're just tired and we're kind of over the circus of it all. It's more about like that than it is what the masculines are in. They're like really dark place energetically, not because they're dark. It's sort of, it's like they've stepped into a new room, but they haven't found the light switch to turn the light on, okay? So it feels very disorienting and it feels very confusing and there's a lot of emotions. It's very dark night of the soul, okay? But for them, it's just it's like an everyday, daily thing. Whereas feminines, I feel like we have pockets of it that are really deep and then we come out. I feel like it's just very different for them, but they're anchoring something in. Interesting that we have a tall tail, okay, at the bottom. And I'm going to look that up in just a second too. Being stabilized by deep roots, anchoring yourself, feeling secure in life, trust and belief and abundance. So they're learning to trust themselves. They're learning to trust their instincts and their knowing. Like, I find divine feminines get bombarded by a lot of the stuff on social media and the projection of energy about that makes us question ourselves. But the masculines, it's a lot of questioning in their, like in the people around them. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels more present and physical in their lives, whereas the feminines, I think we can step out of that. We can kind of shut our phones off and we can kind of go, you know what I mean? So there's something I think very interesting about that. Now, a tall tale. Denial, concealing the truth so you can manipulate and control a situation, fear-based communication, creating a narrative to hide behind, not allowing the fear of what others think to influence your words. That's it. Learning to communicate from a place of authenticity. We all manipulate. We want to judge the masculines for wearing a mask, but before we woke up, we all wore masks. And some of us still do, even though we're more conscious, we're unaware of our subconscious things. So we wear a mask. We aren't vulnerable enough to be honest about how we feel and how we reacted, because there's an embarrassment piece to that. Okay. What came through when I was reading that, and I want to be really clear, we're going to see a lot of readers who are tapping into people that aren't necessarily on the twin flame journey and leaving the twin flame journey. Okay. So we're going to see a lot of people channeling, like you'll get a lot of people that are like devil's advocate when they're doing their readings. They're like, this person's here. Oh, but this is like, there's always going to be a but with it. Like, this is great, but okay. It's because they're reading a collective of people that are divided. Just so if they're talking shit about the divine masculine, okay, and that doesn't feel resonant for you, they're not talking about your masculine. And it's really tricky, because I think until you can really fully wake up to yourself and the way you think and feel about things in your own programming and conditioning, some people think it's resonant when you say crappy things about another person because you feel justified in how crappy you feel in the connection. But it's just resonating with the crappy feeling. It's not actually resonating with the truth. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a really interesting time, if I'm going to be honest with y'all. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong that somebody wears a mask and manipulates. We do that to stay safe. The masculines, if they have not removed their mask, it is not safe to do so, because when it is safe to do so, they will. They are not stuck in their behavioral patterns no more than you are. It just, their path is playing out a little bit differently, okay? I don't know if the cards are crooked, by the way, so I apologize for that. What is the purpose of the connection at this time? Okay, what is the purpose of the connection at this time? Oh yeah, we've got smoke and mirrors. That's so interesting. Okay, and again, I'm going to do a little bit of an extended with this. We've got uncharted territory and sacred reverence. I love that. Oh man, I should have brought water. I'm a little bit thirsty. Okay. I love the smoke and mirrors here. We have seeing through the lens of past conditioning. Oh my God. The inability to recognize the truth of what's being offered. Healing from misguided perceptions. We're doing that. That's what we're doing. Moving beyond the illusion of separation. Being accountable for your biases and the way you view the world. Okay, we're doing that. We're doing that. We're doing the damn thing. That's a shout out to my friend Carrie, who's an amazing human being and does family constellation therapy. Okay. Anyways, so here's the thing. The purpose of the connection right now is to show us where we have preconceived notions about things and about our person and about ourselves, and say, is that really the truth? Has it been muddled by past experiences? And when we really truly leave the past behind, we don't have any interference as to what is the truth, okay? And we're always going to seek truth in some way. The truth will always show up for us in some way. But I love that it said that, because that's absolutely what we're doing. Even the masculines, they're 100% going through this space of this. Who am I? Is this really what? Is this all I'm here for? That's interesting that came through. But like, who they are in the world, what this connection is to them. They have their own filters, expectations, and rejections about it, just like the feminines do. It's such an interesting time, because if you can get on board with just being open to letting things shift and change, this won't feel so hard. Like, I think if you take anything from this video, Pay attention to what you're holding on to belief-wise, and then lean in a little bit further and ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? What is it about this that I need to hold on to that makes me feel safe? And does it really truly provide safety, or does it just feel familiar so I think it's safe? Like if we have these patterns that we engage in, for example, that feel familiar, we think there's safety with that because it's the devil we know, but it's still the devil. So Spirit is asking you to expand on, and the masculines are doing it in their own way. They cannot unsee what they're seeing right now. And that's a hard pill to swallow because it's fast and hard. There's no going back from that, but they still got to deal with a lot of the crap, right? Just like we got to deal with a lot of the crap of sometimes, more often, not really getting what we feel we need and want, okay? But I love that. I love that it's exposing the truth of the illusion of things, the way that our wounds create this filter of what's happening. And maybe that's why I started out the video the way that I did, to say, you know, like, if you think your person's less than you, that's a filter. If you think your person's responsible for your low vibrational frequency, that's something you've been taught. You've probably been taught that you're responsible for how other people feel. That's not the truth though, right? It's our willingness to engage in that energy. And I get it. We want to connect to them, but that we are not here to master that realm. We are here to evolve beyond that and expand beyond that realm. We are here to expand and be more than what. And I love, that's why I love that this came up and the sacred reverence with it, because there isn't a manual. I'm giggling so much at some of the stuff out there because everybody's trying to tell everybody else what to do because they found something that kind of works for them, but nobody has a manual for where we are. Nobody knows the right or wrong thing to do. So again, take those with a grain of salt. I might talk a little bit about that in a different video, but okay. What is the way forward for both the, I'm going to do that in the extended. I'm going to put maybe perhaps what is a potential outcome, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but I do want to leave some for the extended. I want to look at what the way forward is, what the soul's actually yearning for, what sacred action we can take. And so we're going to look at kind of where they're taking us over the next couple of weeks energetically, as a collective. Okay. Are you kidding me right now? Look at this. So we have more uncharted territory. And then we also have sacred revenants. But I kind of love that. I don't know if it feels resonant anymore to have something painted into a corner. You know, like this to me feels more expansive than it does definitive, and as scary as that might be, because I know there's so many of us that require certainty, and we require some sort of, you know, certainty. I'm just going to use certainty. We require some sort of certainty to trust. I think we're being pushed out of that, okay? So uncharted sea, stepping into the unknown without a map, moving beyond your comfort zone, choosing to do things differently, trusting in the ebb and flow of life, being in the dark and letting curiosity lead, and the faith that all will be well. So the way that this translates for me and my own personal journey is I have all of these like creative things that I want to do with my business, but I can't go about doing them how I've always done them. I can't use certainty of what I know about my business. I can't use that anymore. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't really come out right when I try to go about it that way. So I'm learning to navigate my own path in a way that's more fluid and less constructed. And that's not easy, but it feels better. Okay. With my connection, I don't know what's going on with my masculine. No clue. I have no clue what's going on with him. There's been all this crazy stuff. And I have to trust and have faith. I still check in, but I have to have trust, and I have to trust like that whatever he's walking through is exactly what he needs to walk through for him. But there's a reverence to that. There's a sacredness in that trust and that faith that I'm not trying to micromanage. It's also teaching me that I feel like I have to micromanage things, or I have to be aware of them to be prepared for them as if I'm responsible for them. So much dismantling right now. Sacred reverence, awe for the truth that spirit is everywhere, inspiration coming through you as a result of reverence, joyful living, exploring possibilities with curiosity, spiritual passion, manifesting from the starting point of the realm of spirit. I love that, especially for the divine feminines, because that is where our manifestation has the most power, is from the realm of spirit, not the physical reality. How it manifests in the physical sometimes needs our interactions, most times doesn't, okay? That's a whole other topic. But what I love is the curiosity. We're stepping into curiosity, and when we let go of what we think we know from the past, we have nothing but curiosity. We're not sitting there being like, well, that's stupid, you don't want to do that again. You're not repeating the past. So I think that allowing ourselves to be curious about what we haven't experienced and open up to the possibility of what we haven't done is more where our energy needs to go versus what has happened and what we have done. Does that make sense? I hope that this has helped, and I'm sending you all so much love, and take care. The link's in the description box below for the extended.